Welcome back to Orange Blossom Healing, the channel where I am excited to help you feel better with diet and lifestyle. Today we are going to cook some salmon fish cakes with a little salad on the side, and I want to talk to you a little bit about the first 10 days of your cycle and why this dish and others like it are really good for building the hormones that you need during this time. So let's get to it. I'm making this dish for two, so one fish cake each, and I'm using 2 salmon fillets, 1 egg, some chives, dill, capers, and the zest of 1 lemon, which I've already zested. I'm also going to use a few fennel seeds. So that's all we need for our fish cakes. And of course, some salt and pepper. So the first thing I'm going to do is just mix those ingredients into a bowl. So I am going to add them just as they are, some chopped chives and dill, which give beautiful flavour, and both of those are very antioxidant rich. I'm going to add some chopped capers and my lemon zest, and then I'm going to add some salt and pepper. Black pepper is a wonderful preventative spice, so it's really good for preventing all kinds of diseases. It's great for your heart health, so I like to add it into any dish that I can. And I try to use either a Himalayan pink salt or a Celtic sea salt when I'm cooking, because both of those contain a huge number of trace minerals, which means they are adding minerals to your food without any effort, whereas the table salts and the other kind of salts that you can buy often don't contain any minerals. So that's just an easy win. I'm also going to add about a teaspoon of fennel seeds. And 1 egg. I'm going to mix all of those ingredients in, and then I'm going to be able to chop my fish. So super easy, full of flavour and full of healing properties, which is what we're always looking for in our food, at least what I'm always looking for. So whilst I chop this salmon, I want to talk to you a little bit about your hormones. Okay, it's really important as a woman, if you want to thrive, to understand your hormones. So when you're building them, when you need to use them or metabolize them, and when you need to get rid of them. So today for this meal, I'm going to focus on your days 1 to day 10 of your cycle. So if we say that day 1 of your cycle is the first day that you need to use sanitary products, okay? So the first day that you get your period. We're going from day 1 to day 10. Clearly within that period, you won't have a period the whole time, or most people won't. It will be the first 4 or 5 days. But for those whole 10 days, the same thing is happening hormonally. We need to cut our salmon into quite small chunks for these fish cakes. So I'm going to do that whilst I explain everything else to you. So hormonally, from day 1 to 10, we are building estrogen, one of our key sex hormones. And estrogen makes us feel great. She brings a whole bunch of neurotransmitters with her, so that we start to get more mental clarity, we start to be more verbally creative, we get left and right brain access when we get estrogen. So we also get GABA, which is a neurotransmitter that makes us feel calm. So we become this kind of outgoing, sociable, centered and calm person as we build estrogen. So estrogen is a really cool hormone, and we need to care for her by providing her lots of protein, minerals, vitamins, and we need to build estrogen by providing her with a diet that is very low carb. So this meal and other meals that I suggest on my channel for these first 10 days are ketogenic meals, really. They focus highly on your proteins, your minerals, and your vitamins from vegetables. You can use meat sources for your protein, but you could also use vegan sources. So quinoa or lentils are an excellent source of protein, as are tempeh and tofu, as long as you're buying them organic. Soy products tend to be very high in pesticide use, so it's really important to buy those organic. Okay, so I'm going to add my salmon that's finely diced to my herbs and spices. And just mix those in. So the colours are gorgeous and the smells even when it's raw. And then I'm just going to form with my hands 2 little patties and cook them for just 2 or 3 minutes first on the pan, just to make them a little bit more compact. And then I'm going to bake them whilst we get the salad ready. So let's get them going whilst I carry on telling you about estrogen. I'm going to use a dash of olive oil for my fish cakes. Okay, so let's get these cooking in the pan. So whilst these are cooking, I'll just tell you a little bit more about estrogen. Whilst all those neurotransmitters are coming in and we're feeling much better, we are also more resilient to stress. So from this day 1 to day 10 is a really good time to deal with the difficult meeting at work, the big presentation that you have to give, the difficult conversation at home. It's also a time where you can afford a little bit less sleep. You can go harder with your exercise. You can fast more, which I really recommend. So your longer fasts, this is a great time to be doing those. And if you like any hermetic stressors like cold plunges or saunas, this is a great time to be doing it. So day 1 to 10 is perfect for being more resilient to stress. During this time, we want to be what we call insulin sensitive. So we don't want glucose spikes to be high. That means keeping carb consumption low. So we don't want to be eating our pastas, our breads, or even nature's carbs. We don't want to be going too hard on the potatoes or the squashes at this time of the month. What we do want is lots of protein and lots of veg. Throughout our cycle, it is really important to take care of our gut. So our guts are really ground zero of our health, and you'll hear me say that all the time. So ketogenic is a great diet, but actually what Dr. Mindy Pelz calls it is a ketobiotic diet. And that's because the probiotics and the prebiotics and the polyphenols are foods that we really need to feed our guts to keep them healthy and happy. During this time when we're building estrogen, we need to keep our guts happy because some of those neurotransmitters that I mentioned before are actually created in our guts. So we only want to cook these in the pan for a couple of minutes. So I'm just going to turn them. And it's okay if they're falling apart a little bit. They do that. And they'll come together a little bit more in the oven again. And it's really about the nutrient density packed in there more than what they look like, or at least that's how I feel about food. So I am not a professional chef, but I am passionate about eating food that is really nutritious for us and obviously that tastes good. And it's really important to me to try and eat right for my cycle. So that's what I'm hopefully sharing with you guys in this video. So as we've talked about, from day 1 to day 10 of your cycle, this is the time when you need to be focusing on protein-rich foods and minimizing carbohydrates. So once you have pan fried them just for a couple of minutes on each side, then get them into either a non-stick tray or line the tray with parchment paper. And you want to bake them until cooked through. I'm baking at 180 degrees and I expect them to take between 10 and 15 minutes. So for the salad, it's really simple. You can either steam or boil the green beans. I'm just going to boil them in the water for a couple of minutes, literally. So I've chopped off the ends and I'm just going to roughly chop them so they're a little bit smaller. So I'm just going to throw those into the pan, which is already boiling, and just give them 2 minutes. And in the meantime, we'll look at our other ingredients. So I am using some organic cherry tomatoes. I have some fresh mint, lemon, cucumber, and a couple of radishes because they are also seasonal. I love to cook with seasonal food because obviously that is when we were meant to eat it as nature intended. I don't have a mandolin. They have quite a peppery taste if you haven't tried them before, so it's just nicer if they're cut thinly and the flavor isn't as overpowering. My knife skills leave a lot to be desired. I am not an expert at chopping. I'm doing my best to improve. I'm taking some tips on how to improve my chopping. My chef friends, you know who you are. It's up to you guys to help me improve on this front. but basically just avoiding chopping off my fingers and cutting them as finely as I can with a normal knife. So I have my radishes. I'm also going to include cucumber. Cucumber is obviously brilliant for keeping us hydrated because it is over 90% water content. So part of the keeping our gut happy is also keeping the rest of our digestive system happy. And by hydrating ourselves, we're obviously helping our kidneys do their job and indeed the rest of our body to function at its best when it's hydrated. So cucumber also adds just that fresh touch. It's really important with every meal you eat to think about including a raw element. So whilst cooked food can be delicious and warming and nourishing, raw food is where the food maintains all of those digestive enzymes that help us to digest the food. And it's interesting, if you cook food above 47 degrees, you start to lose those digestive enzymes. And the thing is, we have a finite amount in our body. So we can create digestive enzymes, we can digest the foods even when they're cooked. But if we eat raw food, then the digestive enzymes contained within those raw foods are the perfect mix, the perfect combination to digest that food. So I like to think about that. I always give the example of an apple. If you eat an apple raw and whole, then that's perfect. Its digestive enzymes will be intact and it will digest inside your body. But if you cook it or poach it, say to put it in an apple crumble or an apple pie, and you've gone above 47 degrees, then you've now removed those digestive enzymes and your body has to create those. We just cannot mimic the exact digestive enzymes that are found within that apple. So we can do our best and we can get close and obviously we can digest it when it's cooked, but it's not as easy to do as it is with the raw food. So it's really important to maintain our vitality and to increase our longevity to eat some raw food at every meal. Ideally, 50% of the meal could be raw, but if you can't manage that every meal, then just try and make sure that there is a raw element each time you're eating. So I'm going to add my radishes and my cucumber to my salad bowl whilst I prepare some tomatoes. I won't use all of these tomatoes because it would be too many. Tomatoes contain beautiful lycopene and lots of vitamin C, so they are wonderful for building up our resistance to disease, building up our immunity to help us fight disease, which is important at this time of year. They're obviously just at the end of their season. There aren't too many tomatoes left around. It's October right now, so we're just starting to run out of them. But whilst we still have a few coming in our veg box and growing in our gardens, it's excellent to include those. Obviously, tomatoes also really complement fish and the other ingredients that I'm using in this dish. So they're just a perfect addition. They add a little bit of juice as well naturally to the salad. Okay, I don't want those beans to overcook, so I'm just going to drain them and then run them under the cold water to stop the cooking process. I'm also adding mint to this salad because it's got this gorgeous fresh taste. Of course, we're all familiar with the flavour of mint, and it's also wonderful for digestive issues. So indigestion and IBS can be quite significantly relieved by mint. So we're again just being kind to our digestive system, and of course it adds that fresh, lively flavour to the salad. I'm going to add my green beans now that they have been cooled. And I'm just going to squeeze some lemon, which helps to preserve it and obviously adds flavour and goes really nicely with the fish. So we're going to add lots of salt to this too. Black pepper again, and extra virgin olive oil, which of course is full of healthy fats. So both the salmon in the fish cakes and the extra virgin olive oil are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which are wonderful for our brains, but also for our hormones, for creating our hormones and for using them. So they're really important throughout our cycle. So you have your super vibrant, colourful, delicious salad there, and the fish cakes will be ready in a moment. So I'm going to serve up some of our salad first. Those fish cakes you can see have come out golden and beautiful. So they are a little bit broken. They didn't hold perfectly from when I cooked them in the pan, but I always think it doesn't matter so much how it looks and more how it tastes. So any meal I have, I add extra virgin olive oil, almost every meal, to the final dish just to get those extra polyphenols. It's not just fatty acids, but also polyphenols that this contains, which are great for our gut. So it tastes good and it's nutritious. A little drizzle on the plate. And there you have it, an estrogen building dish of phytonutrient rich, colourful, antioxidant rich food, which is going to nourish you and really help to support you during days 1 to 10 of your cycle. I hope that you enjoy that meal and that you learned something from this video, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.